Hi everyone, welcome to episode number 23 of the Walk the Talk podcast. Well, hello there, it's Rachel here, your host of the Walk the Talk podcast. Happy Easter weekend! If you're listening to this on the day that it is being released, then it is Easter Saturday. I don't even know if that's a thing. Is Easter Saturday a thing? I think it might be. Anyway, I hope you are enjoying this wonderful long weekend, whatever it is that you're up to. I have a special episode here for you today. It's special for a number of reasons. It's something that I have been dying to record for ages because it answers a lot of questions that I get asked. And second of all, because on Monday night, that is the 2nd of April 2018, my brand new website goes live. And ladies and gentlemen of the Walk the Talk podcast, this website is the tits. I cannot wait to share the new website with you. There is a download that you can grab that goes with this episode. It's called How to Quit Yo-Yo Dieting. It's an ebook. It is epic. You can download it from the new website on Monday night. However, I will put a link in the show notes of somewhere that you can go and have a cheeky little look right now if you want to grab it now. Okay, so let's dive into this week's episode. Okay, so you want to lose weight, you want to know how to look good naked, you want to fit better into your clothes, and you just want to get your body back to somewhere that resembles how you felt when you were confident and your self-esteem was higher, but you can't remember a time where you weren't on a diet of some sort. Don't worry, you are not alone. The number of people that are on a diet in the United Kingdom across the world is unbelievable. You wouldn't believe just how many people are on a diet all the time. It's shocking. There are some statistics that show that almost 2/3 of adults in the United Kingdom are on a diet of some sort at some stage right now. And to be honest, that really makes me feel quite sad. So what exactly is a diet? What does it mean if you are on a diet? Well, this is obviously a personal opinion, but it's something that I have a lot of experience with because I help women to stop dieting. So a diet to me is something that restricts your food intake in some way that leaves you feeling deprived. Diets come in all sorts of shapes and sizes and different types. But if we think about the big ones like slimming clubs, for example, meal replacement diets, pills, potions, powders, fasting, usually a diet means that you are restricting yourself in some way. You are cutting something out of your diet, or you are feeling deprived in some way. So that is a sort of definition, I suppose, of what a diet means. But you are exhausted with this whole diet mindset. You're either on the wagon or you're off the wagon, and you are probably sick to death of losing and gaining the same stone or the same 6 pounds or the same 10 kilos over and over and over again. And you're looking for a escape route or, light at the end of the tunnel. You value your health, you value the health of your kids, your husband, your partner, your friends. You know that what you're doing is not good for you. You know deep down that even though you're on a diet at the moment, or you have been, or you're thinking about going on a diet, you know deep down that it's not the right thing for you. But you don't know what else to do. So if you want to lose weight, you want to feel better in your clothes, feel more confident stripping down to your birthday suit. But you just don't know what the alternatives are. And that is why I am here. And that is why I created Walk the Talk Life, my business, my online course software, and everything else that goes with it, including this podcast. Because I want to help you stop dieting, stop the yo-yoing from one thing to another, and understand exactly what it is that you need to do in order to get there. So I can guarantee that everybody that's listening to this podcast right now, wherever you are in the world, you've probably done all the diets, that are out there, all the big ones, Slimming Clubs, vast majority of diets are out there. You're still overweight, you're still squeezing into your clothes, you still feel knackered all the time, you're still eating rubbish and feeling like rubbish. Perhaps you start a new diet every Monday morning, but then by 2:00 it's been abandoned in favour of your favourite, indulgence, whatever that might be. And it's an endless cycle. You feel like a failure because you keep failing every Monday afternoon. And then there are, your friends, your family, your colleagues, and they're all following the same dead-end Slimming Club, or knocking their pan in with heaps and heaps of running or shitty cardio. Not that cardio is shitty, but you know what I mean, like knocking their pan in every week. And you think that you should be doing the same thing. And the thing is, you actually enjoy food, and you are sick and tired of feeling deprived and then feeling guilty about the fact that you want to eat real food. So how on earth are you supposed to figure out what to do? Now, there are so many things out there, so many diets, so much information, internet, Facebook articles, the news. Everywhere you look, someone is telling you something completely different. That's leaving you confused. It even leaves me confused, by the way, sometimes. And I am the one that is teaching you how to stop dieting, but I can tell you right now that I am left confused at times. So my aim with this episode of the podcast is to separate the crap from the truth. To tell you what's going to get you the body and mind that you've been searching for, and where to look for the tools and support that you need to make this journey easier and a bit of fun as well. Because once you learn how to quit yo-yo dieting and start a journey that is very, very different, you'll find that it's actually quite an enjoyable experience, and you'll find that losing weight, getting fitter, leaner, burning body fat, starting to wear your clothes again and feeling confident, even beginning to buy smaller sizes, all of these things. I guarantee if you listen to this podcast and you embrace it and you commit to even just doing a few of the things that I recommend that you do, I guarantee that it will completely change your life. All right, so let's dive into the first thing that I suggest you do. So the first thing that I suggest you do is to actually declutter your diet mindset. Now, let me just explain what I mean by that. You can't expect to start to change your mindset if your head is still cluttered with all of the diet rubbish that you are so accustomed to hearing. So there is a little process that you can go through that I like to do with new clients, and it is called declutter your diet. Declutter your diet mindset. So let's have a look at ways that you can do that. So are you a member of Facebook groups that are to do with slimming clubs? Unfollow those groups, leave those groups. Get rid of any paraphernalia that's around your house. So things like diet books, diet potions and pills and products that might be hiding in your diet cupboard. Does anyone else have one of them? I used to have one of them where I used to keep like tubs of Slim Fast and all that kind of rubbish. So decluttering that will leave your mind clear and ready to embrace the new. So that is the first thing I suggest that you do. So anything that is on your mind that is to do with diets, I know it's a scary thing, I know it's scary because it's all you've ever known, but anything that you've got lying around the house or on your Facebook social media feeds, get rid of it. Unfollow, unlike, leave groups, ditch all the books and potions and powders that are in your kitchen cupboards, and make a commitment to yourself that you are starting afresh with a fresh mindset and a fresh approach to your health and your weight loss journey as well. The second thing that I really need you to understand is to do with your diet mindset as well. Now, this is not a shift that you can make overnight, but it's certainly something that you can start to think about. And that is to shift away from that mindset of quick results. Now, we all want things to happen quickly. It's human nature. We're not very patient creatures. I don't know about you, but I am really impatient. If I do something, I want to see the results from it really, really quickly. Otherwise, I get frustrated if I can't see the results, and it used to make me want to give up. So if this sounds familiar to you, for example, maybe you've had a really good week on your diet, right? You've had a really good week and you step on the scales and you've not lost any weight, or you've even gained a little bit of weight. And it sends you off into this crazy, overwhelming spiral of, oh, fuck this. I am going to go and eat myself into oblivion and binge on everything that I've restricted myself of for the past week. If that sounds familiar, then we need to start working towards getting you past this stage. Now, this is not something, again, bit of a pun here, but this is not something that is going to happen overnight. My clients will tell you when they work with me that the first thing I go over, one of the first things is that we need to start thinking long term. And we need to understand that our body weight is not going to always go down every single week. And we need to make sure that we understand that all of the little things that we're doing on a daily basis are all leading up and adding up to the bigger picture. Now, we need to think long term. We need to understand that even though you may not be seeing results right now, rapidly, quickly, it doesn't mean that you have to give up. That is one of the biggest problems that I see, especially with slimming clubs. People not only getting derailed by the fact that maybe they've only lost half a pound 1 week, but comparing themselves to other people and other people's journeys. So that needs to stop. How do we start thinking long term? Well, if you have set yourself a goal, and that's something I go through quite a lot in quite a bit of detail in my Transform 21 program. If you've set yourself a goal, you've got to think about all the little things that you need to have in place every single day that is going to get you to that point, and understand that there are going to be days where you don't feel like it. There are going to be days where your results are just not there. But getting to that point where it doesn't derail you and you just get on with it, that is the point that you want to get to, because that is the mindset that works, that is the most successful mindset to be in. So thinking long term, but then breaking it up into daily tasks, and sort of ticking them off in your head every time that you complete these daily tasks, and not beating yourself up, or learning to not beat yourself up if perhaps you haven't quite achieved one of these tasks each and every day. That's the issue, a big issue that I have with yo-yo dieting, is that you're either on it or off it. It's either good or bad. Food is either good or bad. You're either a success or a failure, and there's no grey area in between. There's no, I'm just doing my best. I'm doing my best. I've done my best today, and I'll do my best tomorrow, and I'll continue doing my best until I reach a place where I want to be. So I know that's a very difficult thing to get your head around, but getting out of the good or bad, success or failure, right or wrong mindset that dieting for a long time puts you in is one of the most important things that you can work on. So have your goal, think about what your goal is, set your goal, then break it down into smaller chunks, and then break it down into daily tasks. What do I need to do today with my big goal in mind? Yes, I might not have seen the results that I want this week, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to stop, because I'm going to do my best, and my best is good enough. So that's my second tip. Okay, now I know you're absolutely desperate for me to talk to you about what you should be eating and what you shouldn't be eating. Everybody always gets to this point where they're like, Rachel, just tell me what to eat. So here's the thing. If I was to dictate to you what to eat, exactly what to eat at what time and what quantities, that would just be yet another diet. So that's why it's really important to me as a business, as a coach, as a human being, to actually educate you on the basics of nutrition and what real food looks like, and how to create food and meals that you enjoy that are also going to get you to where you want to be, sort of weight-wise or fat loss-wise. Because if I educate you that way, you can go away and use that education for the rest of your life without feeling restricted, without feeling deprived, without feeling like a failure, and without feeling guilt. It's important to me that you understand that you can eat whatever you want, within the correct portion sizes in order to get you to your goals. You do not need to feel guilty. You do not need to feel that you have sinned. And you certainly don't need to declare anything to me. It's like going to confession a lot of the time when it comes to slimming clubs, isn't it? It's like going to confession. So here's my third tip. And that is to start looking at your food as fuel for your body. So if you think about it, your body is a vessel for all of the day-to-day activities that you do. The food that you eat is like fuel. So you can either fuel yourself with food that is going to run your body optimally, so really, really good quality food, really, really good quality fuel, and you're going to feel great and have loads of energy. Or you can feed it full of rubbish, and you can feel like rubbish, and your energy levels are very low. So if you think about your body a bit like putting fuel in a car, we need to put fuel in the car to fuel the car so that it goes and runs smoothly. And the same kind of thing goes for your body. So here is the way that I work with clients. If it ran, swam, flew, or grew, that means it is a whole food. And you should be aiming to eat as much whole food as possible. So staying away from processed foods, and having about 80 to 90% of your diet coming from whole foods. So if it ran, swam, flew, or grew, then it is a whole food. So we're thinking of animal products, so meat, fish, and then we are thinking of foods that have flown, so birds, and then food that grew, so plants, fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds. So if it ran, swam, flew, or grew, write that down, stick it on your fridge, then it is a whole food. And actually just changing your diet over gradually. Now, did you get that word? Gradually changing one thing at a time is the key. Overhauling your diet in one big poof sound effect, that is not going to be great in the long term, because it's going to make you feel deprived, which is not what we want. So for example, let's think of one habit that you could change today, going forward. So one habit you could do is you could add some more plants to one of your meals. Yeah. So ran, swam, flew, or grew. You could add some extra vegetables to your dinner, right? That's it. That's it. And aim to do that for the next week. Then the week after that, okay, let's see. Okay, I'm having some processed food about 4 o'clock when I get tired at work. I'm going to swap that sugary chocolate bar for something that's going to help to fill you up a bit more. So maybe a piece of fruit or some fruit and some nuts. And then I'm going to work on improving that habit over the next week. And then the week after that, I'm going to have a look at improving my breakfast. So at the moment, I may be having a bowl of Cocoa Pops. Don't know if anyone does. I still love Cocoa Pops, by the way. Okay, so I'm having a bowl of Cocoa Pops at the moment. That's quite processed. I'm going to experiment with some new breakfasts this week. And then experiment with new breakfasts for a couple of weeks on top of the other 2 habits that you've improved. And as you can see, I'm building up a picture here. So you are improving your nutrition week on week, but you're not having a massive overhaul. So you're not trying to change everything all at the same time. You're changing one thing at a time, working on it for a week or 2, and then changing another habit, working on that for a week or 2. And yes, I know it's the long way, I know it is, but is it really the long way? Because this way you have a much better chance of sticking to it than you would if you just went all guns blazing, changed everything at the same time. So just to recap on point number 3, if it ran, swam, flew or grew, it's a whole food. Aim to get 80 to 90% of your daily food intake from whole foods, and work on improving these habits on a week by week basis and not having a full overhaul of your diet all at once. Got it? Okay, let's talk about exercise in point number 4, because we all know that it's important to move our bodies. You're going to see that there's a bit of a recurring theme here when it comes to increasing or improving your habit change gradually. And I think one of the biggest problems with when you decide to go on a diet is that not only do you give your diet a full overhaul like overnight, but you also hammer yourself with exercise like overnight. So you decide on Sunday night, right, I'm going to take up running tomorrow, and then on Monday you decide to go out and pound the pavement, and then by Tuesday you've injured your knee, you're knackered, and you vow never to run again. Now I'm just going to bust a few myths here when it comes to exercise. Yes, exercise is important if weight loss or fat loss, and more importantly fat loss, is your goal. But here is a bit of a shocker for you. You do not need to join a gym. You don't need to go absolutely nuts and run like crazy. You don't need to take up running at all. Actually, the best type of exercise that you can start with, in fact, there are 2, but right now, one of the things that you can do that will improve your fitness and help you to burn fat is simply to move more than you currently are. Now, I am a huge fan of having a step counter of some sort in your little toolkit. I'm a huge fan of the Fitbit. I am not affiliated with them at all. I just want to tell you that I'm a huge fan of it, because what you can do is, what I recommend you do is, get yourself something that you can record how many steps that you take in a day. It doesn't need to be fancy. It can be a basic, pedometer. And then just aim to increase that. So let's say you're doing 4,000 steps a day at the moment. So you maybe weigh it for a few days and say, right, okay, on average, I'm taking 4,000 steps at the moment. So next week, or starting tomorrow, I'm going to aim for 5,000 steps a day. And then the week after that, I'm going to aim for 6,000 steps a day. And then 2 weeks after that, I'm going to aim for 7,000 steps a day, and increase this gradually, because it will mean that it's not such a massive shock to both your system, and it doesn't take you completely out of your routine. So if you were to try and go from 4,000 to 10,000 steps a day overnight, I can just tell you now, that's about an extra hour and a half of walking a day. So if you're not used to that, finding an extra hour, 90 minutes in your day to walk is going to disrupt your routine, and it's going to disrupt your routine so much that it's going to piss you off and it's going to become a chore. However, if you just aim to increase these steps by about 1,000 per day per week, it's not going to be as big a shock to your routine, and it's not going to piss you off as much. And if over as the weeks add up, it's going to become a new routine. Now, it might sound like walking and being mindful of your steps is not enough to see results when it comes to fat loss, but I can tell you, both from personal experience and from working with literally thousands of people as clients and through my Transform 21 course, it does make a big difference. We are talking about something here called NEAT, or non-exercise activity. So that kind of self-explanatory. So you're burning energy through non-exercise activity. So things like walking, moving around, up and down stairs at home, it all adds up. And if you think about it, if you go to the gym, for example, and you do a 45-minute workout and you're sitting on your arse for the rest of the day, then you're actually not burning much energy. It would be much more beneficial to start thinking about what you're doing in the other 18 hours that you're awake, or that was just a number that I stole out of the air, or the other 16 hours that you're awake. What are you doing in those hours, and how can you increase your energy output? Because anything you can do to increase your energy output will help to create that calorie deficit that you need to burn body fat. So tip number 4, you don't need to go mental and join a gym and hammer it, or go out and pound the pavements and run and knacker yourself. Have a think about what you can do to increase your non-exercise activity levels. And I would highly, highly suggest that you start by looking at how many steps you're taking in a day and aiming to sort of up that gradually until you're reaching about 10 to 12,000 steps a day. And you can do that by just slotting in some nice little walks into your day. Not only will that help with your exercise, it's great to help relax your mind as well and give you some space out from the world. There is another type of exercise I would recommend that you look into if your goal is fat loss and toning up in particular. So if you want to lose weight and also see the rewards in the mirror, then strength training is definitely something that you should look into getting into as well. So pushing against the resistance, weightlifting, or you can do that in a gym, or you can do it at home with your own body weight. But that is for another podcast episode. So have a think about what you can do to increase your non-exercise activity, and let me know how you get on. Now, as if I haven't given you enough to work on, I'm just going to leave you with one last thing. Point number 5, we need to start blocking out the noise and stop comparing ourselves to everybody else. So what you're about to do, you're about to quit dieting. This is something that not a lot of people are doing. So you're going to be in the minority. You need to block out the noise. You need to block out the noise of the diet industry and everything that you have believed up until now. You got to forget it. You are starting something new. You are investing in your health, yourself, your mindset, your self-confidence, and your body. And unfortunately, the vast majority of the population are going to be on a diet. So I suppose this goes back to point number 1. We've got to block out the noise. So get on Instagram and unfollow all your Slimming Club nonsense. Get on Facebook, leave all the groups that people are talking about, all the guilt that they're having over bloody well Easter chocolate. Don't get me started on that. Get into your cupboards, get rid of all your diet-based products, potions, pills, books, everything, and start afresh. And make a commitment to yourself that you're worth so much more than the number that you see on your bathroom scales in the morning. It doesn't mean to say that it's not important to you that you want to lose weight, because I can understand, if you're listening to this episode, that it is important to you. But I can't stress this enough. Life is to be lived, and we can't carry on feeling guilty for enjoying ourselves. It makes me really, really sad to see that people are not going out with friends for dinner for fear of not being able to eat anything on the menu. It makes me really sad to hear that a lot of people that are out there listening to this are struggling to even socialise because of the whole diet thing. The number of people that email me that say that they feel that they've become a recluse because of the way that they feel about their body, number one, and because of the way that they are feeling so restricted on their diets. It makes me really sad. And I just want you to know that I'm making it my mission to help you to feel more confident in your food choices, more confident in the way that you move, and more confident in the way that you think about yourself as well. So I'd love for you to even just take one or two things from this episode, or, even if you don't feel ready to implement some of the things, just to even feel a bit more positive that there is a way out and that you can feel better, then I've done my job with this episode. I try not to overwhelm you because there is so much that I could go into, but just to fill you with a bit of confidence that it can be done. I've worked with thousands of people that have done it, and it can be done, and I want you to know that you don't have to be stuck in this horrible cycle of dieting any longer. You can decide right now that enough is enough. You can decide that today is the day that you are stopping, and even just making that decision will help you to feel even better, promise. I really hope that you have enjoyed this episode. I really enjoyed recording it. I could go on and on and on, but I won't. I will stop here. So just before I do go, again, have a great Easter weekend, whatever you're up to. I just wanted to tell you a couple of things that are going on with Walk the Talk Life over the next few days and few weeks. So my new website, walkthetalklife.com, is going live on Monday night. That's United Kingdom time, Monday night. And there are loads of awesome free downloads on the homepage that you can go to. So check that out on Monday. You can also find that there is a free download that goes alongside this episode, and you'll find the link to that in the show notes, and you can download an ebook called How to Quit Yo-Yo Dieting, and it explains in a lot more detail what I've been trying to get across in this episode of the podcast. So you can grab that for free. Just click on the link, no worries. The next Transform 21 group starts on the 19th of April. So if you would like me to walk you through this process step by step and coach you through the process, then bookings will be open for that very, very soon. And I also have something else very exciting in the pipeline that's coming up towards the middle of the year, but I will be starting to tease you with a little bit about that in the not too distant future. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave me a review on iTunes or wherever you're listening to the podcast. It really means a lot and helps me to reach more people. And that's it from me for today, everyone. Have a fantastic weekend, whatever you're up to, and make sure you enjoy your Easter chocolate. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for that, all right? You have it from me. Go enjoy yourself. Lots of love. Bye.